Hello, good morning. Welcome to our channel. In this video we will discuss base answer for communications in ICT from Unit 1. In first unit we have 4 concepts. Like 1. Educational technology and its subparts as aims, objectives, aspects, uses, scope, concept. 2. Communication and its subparts as barriers, facilitators. 3. ICT and its subparts as concept, need, evaluation, scope. 4. Instructional media and its subparts as knowledge explosion, multimedia, programmed learning. We will try to write base answer for communication and its subpart questions. Here I gave pictures related to topic so that you can easily understand. Please go through it. Concept of communication. Definition. The word communication has been derived from the Latin word communis. Its meaning is give and take or mutual sharing. Education with its correlated activities of teaching and learning involves communication between the teacher and pupils. Communication is an art which involves skills, techniques and has its roots in psychology. Communication is science, which involves the use of audio-visual materials. Human ability to communication depends on understanding, thinking, expression of skills, visualization, graphics, analysis and different audio-visual materials. Therefore, communication is 1. Passing of information, 2. Exchange of ideas, 3. Sharing ideas with others. Objectives of communication. 1. Inform, to suggest, 3. Motivate, 4. Warn, 5. Order, 6. Change behavior of others, 7. To establish better relations, 8. Meaningful learning. Elements of communication. 1. Context. A. Where the communication takes place, classroom, mobile call, video conference, party, park, bus, train, etc. B. Who are the participants, teacher and pupil or to friends or a group of people, etc. C. Formal communication or informal, means planned communication or unplanned. D. Temporal, means duration of communication. E. Purpose, teaching, casual, planned, unplanned, etc. 2. Source sender, a person who provides verbal or nonverbal cues to which someone can respond. He is the speaker in the communication. 3. Destination receiver, a person who interprets the message. Destination is the person for whom the message is intended. 4. Message, a set of verbal or nonverbal symbols, gestures, cues or words sent from the sender. 5. Channel, the medium used to transmit the signal from sender to receiver. For e.g., in a classroom, the teacher uses teaching aids. In a party meeting, the speaker uses a mic. In a video conference, the speaker uses audio-visual equipments. In a teleconference, the speaker uses mobile, etc. 6. Encoding, while communicating with electronic devices, signals converted from analog to digital conversions. And in sometimes encrypted messages in order to avoid hackers, it's also known as ciphering. 7. Decoding, the receiver deciphers received messages to understand received messages. 8. Feedback, response given by receiver after receiving message. 9. Noise, noise is anything that distorts the message. It can be external or internal to the sender or receiver. Characteristics of communication. 1. Communication involves at least 2 persons, sender and the receiver. 2. Communication is a two-way process. It does not merely means sending and receiving messages. It is not complete unless and until the message has been understood by the receiver in the same sense. 3. Purpose of communication. A communication must convey some message. The receiver should understand the message sent and should respond accordingly. 4. Form of communication. Communication may take several forms, for example order, instruction, report, queries, etc. It may be verbal or written. It may be formal or informal. 5. Scope of communication. Communication pervades all human relationship. 6. Communication is a dynamic process. Communication is influenced by the mood and thinking of the sender and receiver. 7. Communication is much more than words. Communication may be written, oral or gestural. It also involves ideas and emotions. A lot of communication is done through signs, symbols and gestures. Communication's primary purpose is to motivate a response. 9. It flows up and down, and from side to side. Communication flows downward from a superior to subordinate and upward from subordinate to a superior. It also flows between two or more persons operating at the same level of authority. Types of communication. Verbal and non-verbal communication. 1. Verbal communication. The communication happens through verbally, vocally or through written words which express or convey the message to other is called verbal communication. Verbal communication is the use of language to transfer information through speaking or sign language. It is one of the most common types, often used during presentations, video conferences and phone calls, meetings, and one-on-one conversations. Verbal communication is important because it is efficient. It can be helpful to support verbal communication with both nonverbal and written communication. Factors of effective verbal communication. 1. Think before you speak. 2. Speak with confidence. 3. Be clear and concise. 4. Be aware of your nonverbal communication cues. 5. Be a good listener. 6. Think about the perspective of your audience. 7. Vary your vocal tone. Types of verbal communication. A. Oral communication, a communication which happens through word of mouth, spoken words, conversations and any messages or information are shared or exchanged between one another through speech or word of mouth is called oral communication. Example, public speech, news reading, television, radio, telephone, and mobile conversations. B. Written communication, a communication happens through any word written or often written sign which refers the language's uses in any medium is called written communication. Example, simply any handwritten, typed, newspaper, printed word documents, letters, books and magazines. 2. Nonverbal communication, any communication without word of mouth, spoken words, conversation and written languages are called nonverbal communication. It happens through signs, symbols, colors, gestures, body language or any facial expressions. Nonverbal communication is the use of body language, gestures, and facial expressions to convey information to others. It can be used both intentionally and unintentionally. For example, you might smile unintentionally when you hear a pleasing or enjoyable idea or piece of information. Nonverbal communication is helpful when trying to understand others' thoughts and feelings. Barriers of communication. 1. Physical barriers. The physical barriers affect both verbal and nonverbal communication. These barriers are present around us in the environment, such as noise, technical problems, design problems, etc. 2. Attitude barriers. The attitude barriers can arise due to overconfidence, poor management, lack of motivation, and behavior. 3. Emotional barriers. The emotions in a person determine the ease and comfort in which he/she can communicate. A better understanding of inner emotions will help us to respect the emotions of other people. 4. Cultural barriers. Cultural barriers usually exist between countries, religions, caste, color, etc. at any level in society or an organization. 5. Language barriers. Language barriers are also known as linguistic barriers. A small variation in language can lead to colossal misunderstanding between people. 6. Gender barriers. Gender barriers signify how men and women behave. Such barriers include different choices, styles of decision-making, etc. 7. Lack of focus and eye contact. Lack of focus and eye contact may lose the interest of listeners or audience. 8. Fear of mistakes. Mistakes are a part of the communication process. 9. Psychological barriers. The psychological state of a person can be a barrier in communication, such as opinion, consciousness, emotions, attitude, and behavior. It distracts the user from paying attention while communicating. 10. Feedback issues. Feedback ensures that the receiver has correctly interpreted the message from the speaker sender. We will meet with another topic in next video. Please like, share and subscribe our channel.